Alabama Vintage, AlabamaVTG.com, at AlabamaVTG on the Instagram account. Go check them out there. Connect with the brand ambassadors for 15% off your order at AlabamaVTG.com. All the great vintage apparel in store for you there. Whether it's t-shirts, whether it's hats, shoes, you name it. Charlie's got it in store for you there. Go check them out. 2210 University Boulevard under the Crimson awning across from City Hall. So what I want to get into today, for the most part, we'll discuss the 2022 Alabama schedule in a little bit. But who's got me fired up, who I think is a guy that should be contributing sooner rather than later, is one on a grander scale. On a grander scale, who should be contributing greater on a greater scale sooner rather than later is one Jase McClellan. Now, you could look at his stats and you could probably say, well, why not do more with the snaps that he does get? He's gotten 30 touches over the first 3 games. That averages out around 10 touches a game. But he's got 3 touchdowns offensively. He's got another on the punt block return. 22 attempts, 66 yards, though, on the ground. 1 touchdown. 8 receptions, 77 yards. Now, I get it. When you look at this running back room, I get it. I do. Brian Robinson's the guy. Brian Robinson he's a powerhouse. He's a great blocker. He knows what he's doing. He's a veteran. He's experienced. He's a leader. He's one of the very few leaders, apparently, on this offense. Alabama appears to be really kind of lacking in that department. But so too in the playmaker department, right? Because you watch Alabama's offense, there's a lot of the same things that we've seen over the past few years under different offensive coordinators, especially Steve Sarkisian, where it's a lot of distribution from the quarterback. Not a lot of playmaking, a lot of distribution from the quarterback. Extended run plays through the passing game. Jase McClellan's touchdown against Florida, kind of similar to that, right? That swing pass, it's just an extension of the run game. So I understand Alabama's going to throw the ball a little bit more because the advantages are there. You don't quite have to overpower your opponent or out-scheme your opponent on those simple plays. You just get the ball in the hands of a playmaker in space. All I'm asking is let's put that play in the hands of Jase McClellan more often. Because what Alabama needs right now is playmakers. Why is Alabama struggling offensively? Is it Bryce Young? Is it the offensive? No. It's the fact that we can't get the ball in the hands of Jamison Williams in more opportune moments. Can't get the ball in John Mechie's hands in more opportune moments. Jalil Billingsley, Cameron Latu, these guys. It's one thing to do it against Miami. Clearly not a good football team. It's another thing to do it against Mercer. Clearly an inferior program based off of levels, right? But you look at Florida. Florida did a lot on their own to impact the football game. And I'll stand by that. Alabama didn't play bad in the football game. Alabama didn't play poorly. They didn't play below their talent level. The other team influenced the contest. And sometimes that's how football goes. And that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly okay. So let's get more out of the guys that can do something with the football in their hands. And Jase McClellan is a prime example of this. A guy who makes people miss in space, is reliable with the ball in his hands. Give him the ball. When you look at the fact that only 2 running backs played in the entire football game, when we went into this season talking about the depth, Roydell Williams fumbles in the first game. We really haven't heard from him since. He's played, but we haven't seen much. Trey Sanders gets a handful of touches both against Miami and against Mercer when both those games are relatively out of hand. Makes good with those touches, but he's not the pass blocker. He can't. I shouldn't say he can't, but he doesn't do it at the level that Brian Robinson and Jase McClellan both proved on a number of blitzes against Florida that he's capable of handling that responsibility. So coming right into it, and we're preparing for Southern Miss, right? Not overlooking Southern Miss to think about Ole Miss. But we all know how the Southern Miss game is going to go, right? And there's no anger on the side of Nick Saban. He seems more or less pleased with the way his team performed in a hostile situation where they had to show that they are the winners. Winners find ways to win games, losers don't. And Alabama found a way to win the game. They made the plays when they had to. And sometimes all that matters in a game like that is that you came out with the W, not the other guys. But one of the guys that played such an integral part in getting that W is Jase McClellan. And I just want to see him get more opportunities. I'd like to see the team run the football a little bit more. I'd like to see the team run the football a little bit more successfully. But we're taking into account one game where the passing game dominated Miami to such a degree that the game was never in question. Another game against Mercer where the entire offense just did not play well for most of the game relative to how it should have looked, I guess. Then we get to Florida, and Florida impacts the game a lot to where maybe you're just not able to learn a lot about this team outside of how it responds to adversity, which was quite well. Especially you consider offensively, you didn't finish the second, or you didn't play at all in the second quarter. 10 plays in the second quarter. You didn't do much, right? 3 and outs, and then in the end of the quarter, you didn't get anything done. Couldn't complete a pass, couldn't run the ball, couldn't get out of your way in penalties. It happens, right? You're not happy about it, but it happens. That leads to your defense not performing as well as it could because it's gassed. It's having to make all the plays. It's dealing with these long drives now that Florida's found momentum and has been able to, scheme something up that works. You got to find guys that you can rely on, though. And this offense has had a hard time with that. They've tried to get Jameson Williams involved in the game. And against Florida, that was the case for especially early on. Let's get the ball to Jameson Williams. He was eating up targets left, right, and center all throughout the first half of the game. Second half of the game, he gets the one big play where he sets Alabama up pretty well inside Gators territory. But outside of that, couldn't get much out of him. John Mechie, pretty much locked down by Kyer Elam. And it happens. I mean, Mechie did have a good game, don't get me wrong, but we're looking for those guys that can make plays and impact the game. Give me Jase McClellan. Give me a guy that's shown speed, that's shown power, that's shown burst, that's shown vision, that's shown grit and determination. And by God, he does everything well. He pass protects, which is really hard to find out of any running back. It is an extremely difficult thing to find out of running backs. But he can pass protect. He runs the ball just fine. And first of all, his offensive line is doing their job. Did some guys struggle a little bit more? Yes, but they're facing talent that's equal to their level. Sometimes you're gonna give up a few. You're gonna struggle a little bit, and the guys across from you are gonna make plays. It's football. We're so used to playing inferior competition that when we play competition relative to our level and it's a back and forth slugfest, we think Alabama's not playing well. I'll tell you who did not play well a little bit later in the show, because I got a prime example for you, and I'm pretty annoyed with it, to be honest, because it's a guy that is supposed to be this fantastic leader and this fantastic playmaker, and he found himself out of position so often on that defense that is mind-boggling. And we'll talk about him in a little bit. But offensively, to keep your stuff together, find the guys that are willing to make the plays, that are able to, control their body in the open field, make guys miss, and make plays all together. That's Jase McClellan. He's the best option for that. Brian Robinson, excellent player, excellent football player, excellent guy to pound the defense. He broke a lot of tackles against Florida. He had a fantastic game, but he's not a playmaker. He's an energy guy. You see him bowl somebody over, that'll get you excited. But Jase McClellan is a big play waiting to happen. If you want to take advantage of some of those big plays that can happen, give him the ball more. That's who I want to see step up as we get through this season. As we roll through Southern Miss and we, set our eyes on Ole Miss, and we're looking for guys that are going to make plays and counter what Matt Corral and those Rebels are going to bring to Bryant-Denny Stadium. I want to see more out of Jase McClellan. Who do you want to see more out of? You can call the show 205-342-9904. You can also join us in the streams on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Off the Edge 109. You can leave your comments in there as well. I'm Jacob Harrison, Kim Rankin behind the board, Joe Gaither in there helping out as well. We'll take a break. We'll discuss Alabama's schedule for next year, and I'll tell you who I was really disappointed in their performance against Florida on the defensive side of the ball. All that and more next here on Off the Edge. Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama sports.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
The moment you fire up a Gator UTV, the engine has your full attention. The completed job is on the horizon, and the trail meets its match. Just like that, you made short work of a long to-do list. Run with us on a John Deere Gator UTV. With effortless four-wheel drive at the flip of the switch and our smoothest shifting transmission yet. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny, windy at times, cooler and less humid today. The high 75. A very cool night tonight. Clear with the low at 51. Tomorrow and Friday, lots of sunshine both days. The high tomorrow is 76. The high Friday at 80. I'm James Spann on the ADC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 68 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
We aren't going anywhere. Off the Edge is available in the podcast center on Tide100.9.com.
Back here on Off the Edge, Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama Crimson Tide sports. Last night, Alabama's 2022 schedule is released. And let me tell you, this thing is baby butt soft. This is horrendous. First of all, I agree with Ryan Fowler. Why in the world are you in the middle of September releasing the 2022 schedule and not really making any buzz about it until like early in the morning? That come on. But I also understand why. It's because there's no excitement on this thing. None. All you folks that were annoyed by being a little bit stressed out against Florida, guess what? You ain't got to deal with it next year. Next year is going to be smooth sailing. Just cruising. Second year with Bryce Young. Throwing it up to Jamison Williams and Cameron Latu. Jase McClellan leading the running back room. Only offensive lineman you got to replace, almost all of them, but you're still going to feel good. Still going to feel good about the offensive line because you're playing Utah State in-house to open the season. No anxiety there. Real comfortable watch. Just lay back in the easy chair and watch the Alabama Crimson Tide cruise right over the Aggies. Heading to Texas? Yeah, Texas ain't back. Come on. If Arkansas can do what they did to Texas, why am I supposed to get up for a Texas road game? I mean, you can bet all the money in your wallet right now that I'm going to try to go to that game. But at the same time, serious contest? I think not. The Warhawks, Louisiana Monroe. The revenge, 16 years in the making. Come on. Sun Belt competition. We get Vanderbilt in the rotation from the East. They'll come into Bryant-Denny Stadium. That'll be ugly. Going to Arkansas. Is Arkansas going to be for real back? Are they? Are the Pigs back, Mason Woods? Are the Pigs back?
Arkansas's beating Texas A&M this weekend. You heard it here first.
There we go. There we go. I think we're 3 or 4. Kim, are you in on the Pigs beating the Aggies 4-4 right here? So inevitably, when we all dip in our staff pick rankings, you know,
I'm high on the Hogs.
High on the Hogs. Let's go. I mean, next year though, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just continue to look at the schedule. Texas A&M. I ain't got no fear of Texas A&M. Like, why do you think I'm picking the Pigs over Texas A&M this year? 'Cause I got nothing for the Aggies. Got nothing. It's every single year. Are the Aggies the team to beat Alabama? Hell no is the answer every single year. It doesn't change. It never changes. Jimbo is Jimbo. The Aggies are the Aggies. The 12th man doesn't scare Alabama. It doesn't impose on Alabama. They never have the quarterback that can do it since Johnny Manziel. Got no fear. At Tennessee, come on. Hammer and nail rivalry. Hosting the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. No fear. At LSU. Ain't Death Valley no more. Corn Dog Valley. Ain't got nothing. LSU's going to be in a rebuilding year. Ole Miss, I like Lane Kiffin. I really do. Next year, he's going to be breaking in a new quarterback. What's he got? We'll see. Austin Peay at home. Then Auburn. Come on. That is baby butt soft. How are you supposed to get up and get excited for college football and there's no competition on the other side? There's no competition here. Am I exaggerating a little bit? Maybe. But I also just... come on. What are you supposed to get out of any of this? This isn't good football. Folks will read this schedule. And this isn't a dig at Alabama. Not dogging Alabama's schedule making it or anything like that. This is a college football problem. Let's look at LSU's schedule. Florida State, Southern, Mississippi State, New Mexico, Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama, Arkansas. Good luck. UAB, Texas A&M. What are we doing? I can't even slightly get excited for the schedule right now. You mean to tell me that next year we're going to spend the last 3 weeks of the offseason trying to break down Utah State? Nobody wants to line up and play Alabama. Nobody wants to do it. Who was I really annoyed by in this game against Florida? I finally got to watch it back. If it is a run play, if the offense is running a running play, then a linebacker should make 0 backward steps. Am I correct in that, Joe Gaither? I feel like I should know. He should absolutely never run towards his own goal line on any running play, ever. You know who does that a lot? Henry To'o. Incredibly frustrating that the Gators are running a option play to his side, and instead of attacking downhill, he sees who's going to come block him, and he tries to run around them. Instead of keying in on his guy and thus forcing whoever the edge defender is to play both the pitch and the quarterback, which only leads to yardage unless your name is Will Anderson. Henry Toto running backwards on run plays. Like y'all want to get onto the defensive line. This guy can't get off blocks either. And it's very concerning. Like, I love Henry Toto. When he's blitzing, he's terrifying. But where's everything else? And it's from both inside linebackers where you see them shoot a gap, but they aren't able to get the angle just right. And they do that diving at the feet and rolling onto their own feet thing afterwards that guys who just aren't great tacklers tend to do, which is mind-boggling because both of those guys are great tacklers. We want to get bent out of shape for the defensive line. Defensive line did fine. Defensive line did fine. Didn't do great. The other offensive line blocked. The other offensive line did their jobs. Sometimes that happens. Can the defensive line do a little bit more to keep these guards off of these linebackers? Probably. But also, can these linebackers just do better in getting off of blocks? You bet everything on it. Almost all of Florida's gashing runs, if you look behind them, you will see 10 and you will see 8, and they will be smothered by a block. Smothered. Not getting off of it, not ripping and trying to get away, not complaining about a hold, nothing. Not getting held. Smothered, blocked out of the play. And then that leaves DeMarco Helms, that leaves Jordan Battle in a precarious situation where they're supposed to figure out what's next for them. How are they going to go through and how are they going to make the play now that this is a wide open field for whoever this running back is? That's painful. That's painful. I can't wrap my head around a linebacker seeing a run play and not saying, this is my opportunity to make a play. That's what you're built for, especially when you're Henry Toto and your whole career has been called into question whether or not you're a good pass coverage linebacker. So if you're undersized and you're not great in pass coverage, you struggle to get off of blocks, but you're a great blitzer. But even then, you're not really getting home all the time. You're really creating opportunities for other guys. I'm wondering what's next. I'm wondering what's next. When are we going to see playmaking Henry Toto? When are we going to see playmaking Christian Harris? Because every time it seems to be a play made that this defense needs, it's one of two guys. It's Will Anderson or it's Fedarian Mathis. There ain't much in between. Jalen Armour-Davis made a few plays against Florida, got beat a couple of times. It happens. You're a cornerback. Jordan Battle did his job, but never made a play. DeMarco Helms had 12 tackles. He never made a play. So I'm not out on the defense, and I'm not saying that this defense is beyond repair. I still think it's the best in college football because you can look at all the other defenses around the country. And I promise you're not going to find the talent. You're not going to find the guys that are able to make plays and able to create stops and force punts and do their things, cause turnovers, and put those turnovers in a position for the offense to make points. You're not going to see that anywhere else. You can be the best defense in college football and still have a myriad of flaws. Don't misunderstand that. But you've got to get more out of these off-ball linebackers. You simply have to. There's not enough there, man, especially on these options. Like, you don't want to give the rest of college football the formula to beating you. And it be something as annoying as option football is. Because it is so simple that it's frustrating. You key on your guy. Will Anderson talked about it. You key on your guy. If you have the pitch, you defend the pitch. If you have the quarterback, you defend the quarterback. None of this other. You're not playing both. You're not escaping the blocks. You're playing your guy. I can't imagine that when they got in the film room, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and they're looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly. I can only imagine how many ugly plays there were when Henry To'oTo'o is running backwards on a run play. Backwards. It's unheard of. I audibly out loud watching film in my own home screaming, why are you running backwards on a run play? Lord, fix it. I wonder, and this is me just kind of wondering out loud. I wonder what the coaching is really like. Like, we know how intense Sinceri is with these edge rushers, and they're the best players on the entire team. We know how intense Nick Saban is with his defensive backs, and they're playing fine for the most part. I mean, for the most part. The corner is very deep. Safeties want to see more out of Helms, but he's not an awful football player. You know, if you're the 11th best guy on a defense that's the best in the country, you're still a pretty good football player. But at the same time, like, what's going on with the linebackers? What's going on with the safeties, and why is the middle of the field just being carved up no matter which way you go? It's frustrating. I understand the frustrations of many of the fans that are worried about the team moving forward. Like, I get it. But we're not dealing with a bad football team. We're dealing with a team that went up against another great team. And I can accept when the other team does well. I can't bring myself to rationalize why guys are making false steps and making false moves and not doing the things that they've been coached to do. Step forward. Do your thing. We'll talk about the Alabama quarterback, Bryce Young, next here on Off the Edge. Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama sports.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
The real estate market is always tough, but this market, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. When the average home stays on the market just 24 days and houses routinely go for more than the listing price, who you work with matters. Realtors have the expertise, local knowledge, and personal touch to give you a competitive advantage throughout the entire home buying process. And that's something an ordinary agent could never do. So make sure your agent is a realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
You will solve the great mystery.
Streaming only on Peacock.
This is Robert Langdon. The suspect called him.
I teach symbology. He wants me to locate an ancient portal buried within the Capitol.
From the author of the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons.
It's your dad. The people who took him want me to find a piece of a very old puzzle.
And executive producers Ron Howard and Brian Grazer.
We have to finish this or my dad is dead.
Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. Streaming now with new episodes every Thursday. Only on Peacock.
The original Peloton bike offers more motivation.
Great job, team!
70% of members say they work out more now with Peloton than before. Get game-changing cardio at a new game-changing price. The original Peloton bike, now $400 less. Learn more at onepeloton.com.
Dell's semi-annual sale delivers unmatched productivity and play. Right now, save what Dell employees save with 17% off leading XPS and Alienware computers powered by Intel Core processors. Visit Dell.com/semi-annual or call 800-BY-DELL. That's 800-BY-DELL.
Follow Off the Edge on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for live streams and instant analysis. Off the Edge with Jacob Harrison continues.
Tua Tagovailoa has fractured ribs and is out for Sunday's contest against the Las Vegas Raiders. So yesterday I was like questioning Tua's toughness. Look, if you got fractured ribs, you got fractured ribs. You ain't playing football. Like, I'm done. I'm not going to question his ribs. The thing I'll question with that entire organization is, when are you going to decide to protect your investment? You spent the fifth overall pick on this quarterback, and every offensive lineman that you've drafted in subsequent rounds, not doing their job, not doing their job. And the free agents that you've went out and signed, not doing their job. Whoever evaluates the offensive lineman for the Miami Dolphins needs to find another profession, and they need to find somebody that can actually evaluate offensive linemen so that they can put those guys in front of Tua Tagovailoa so that he can play his brand of football, which is, fast and to the point, and usually requires him to stand upright in a functional pocket. What is it with offensive line play, though? Why is it so hard to find good offensive linemen? Even when you come from Alabama, I mean, Alex Leatherwood is struggling in the NFL right now. Struggling. At least 2 penalties in each game so far. A lot of holding calls. Not doing well in pass protection. He's been going up against some pretty great pass rushers, but I mean, really, really struggling. And he was on one of the greatest offensive lines of all time in college football, and a staple at that. Left tackle, big deal kind of guy. And yet here we are in the NFL. It's so hard to find good pass rushers, or offensive linemen, because the pass rushers are so great. Here at Alabama, though, here to tell you, the offensive line is fine. Bryce Young is fine. The running game is fine. The receivers, they're fine. They're all growing. They're all growing. All these guys are so wildly inexperienced that it can become a bit of a chore, a bit of a task to try to see when things are going to reach the pinnacle level, when things are going to reach a championship level, the way that Alabama fans want to see them perform. And I understand all that. When you look at Bryce Young, though, a lot of the reasons for the 3 and outs were because he was under such duress. The offensive line was handling the pressure for the most part. He did get one of those sacks, was on one of those 3 and outs. But it's a full defensive effort from Florida that really played into it. Like, you can't just immediately blame your team. Sometimes the other team does what they're going to do. But when it comes to pressure and moving a quarterback off his spot, sometimes that's the only goal in the pass rush. Like, it's going to be difficult to get to them because their offensive line is good. If you just bring enough guys and you get the quarterback off his spot, you can cut the field in half and also change his throwing trajectory, change his body in the motion in which he's going to throw the football, all those different sort of things. Those give you benefits on the defensive side of the ball. And that's pretty much what Florida did in those 3 drives in the second quarter. They brought just enough pressure to move Bryce Young and alter the passing trajectory. And when they didn't bring the pressure and Bryce got the ball out on time, there were miscommunications with the wide receivers. Like, you don't throw a slant 6 yards behind your guy. Like, nobody's that inaccurate that's playing college football at this level. So that wasn't an inaccuracy. You tell that was miscommunication. And then back shoulder throws, low percentage throws. You're hoping that if your receiver doesn't catch it, that it'll be a penalty. If you're off by 2 yards, though, on the back shoulder throw, you're not going to get a penalty. You're not going to complete the pass either. You live to fight another day. And then there were some plays just made by the Gators in the secondary, but I can't for the life of me understand the take that Bryce Young played scared at any point in the ball game. Do you know that before that goal line attempt where Cameron Latu just came down with the wrong foot, that like 3 plays before that, Bryce Young rushed for a first down? Don't tell me my quarterback is scared. He's scared of nothing.
Scared would have ran out of bounds on third down and said, let's kick a field goal. That's what Scared would have done. Intelligent football players see that there's 3 Gators on the goal line and that their tight end sitting in the back of the end zone, and they loft it over them and give his tight end a chance to score a touchdown. Because you're 6 foot tall, listed 6 foot tall, you're sub 200 pounds. You're not fighting through 3 Florida Gator defenders in this ball game where their defense is playing pretty good. You're not doing it. I can't. All the talk of his inaccuracies, all the talk of his fear, it's a bunch of hogwash. And I challenge you to watch the game again. And to take notes or something. Because this kid's good. He's great. He's shown every ounce of why he could be the most exciting quarterback to ever play at Alabama. The fact that you go into the swamp and that everybody is rattled to the point that they are, that Alabama has to win the game by 2 points with a sophomore quarterback making his first start out on the road in the conference, and he wins that game. That the 2 big drives that he needed in the fourth quarter, he was able to get the job done. And one of those times it was with the stinking clock not working. Don't lose respect for winning. Don't lose respect for the talent that you have when you've got it. I understand that we as a fan base very used to joyless murder ball, very used to the idea of dominant play, doing the little things right. And I'll be honest, looking at the film, there were a lot of fundamentals that were just flat out ignored in the pursuit of making plays. Saw Drew Sanders peek inside while holding the edge a couple of times, which completely opens up the edge. You lose contain the second you peek inside of the offensive tackle's shoulder. Lose contain, give up first down. Fundamentals. You know better, but you did it anyway. Fundamentals. Don't run through a receiver on a back shoulder throw, right? You know that. Don't do it. Josh Jobe did it anyway. Offensive linemen. Fundamentals. A lot of those sorts of things were what got away from Alabama, but they got away from Florida too. Florida didn't go without their own mistakes and their own opportunities to win the game. Both teams made the plays they needed to try to win the game. Florida just made fewer of them. That's good football. But a lot of Alabama's necessary plays on offense went straight through Bryce Young. Or they went through his ability to manage the offense or to keep the offense in check and to do the things they needed to do to win. Because here's the thing. If Bryce Young on that goal line effort chooses to run the football and he fumbles, Alabama does not win the game. You want him to run into 3 guys, there's a strong chance he's going to fumble the ball. Florida marches the field just like they were going to do. And Alabama's left with two minutes to try to go win the game after fumbling the football and the swamp being even louder than it was. Sometimes you got to be acceptable with the outcome that you're given. The outcome that you were given was a field goal. A lot of folks wanted to see Alabama score the touchdown on fourth down. I'm glad they jumped off sides or had the false start. I'm glad. Truthfully. Because that led to the field goal, which was the better play. Because, again, Alabama gets the fourth down. They don't make it. There you are again. Say, I bet they can't run the field again. They've done it 4 times before. Florida would have done it again. Would they not? And I know all those are the negative outcomes. Surely positive outcomes are in alternate universes in the Marvel Extended Universe. But regardless, you have to be able to accept the outcome that you were given. Bryce Young gave you favorable outcomes on most of his plays. He played great football. He did exactly what you needed him to do in most situations. He ain't scared. He's thrown 10 touchdowns. He's thrown 0 interceptions because he's smart with the football. He almost threw, in 2 consecutive passes, almost threw his first interception. First time, Brenton Cox Jr., little zone blitz. He was in coverage, not used to seeing that. He almost picked off a small route. And then Zaire Elam almost had one too, had it not been for Brenton Cox again interfering with the receiver. But other than that, every throw that he had was his receiver or nobody. How can you not love that? How can you not just take that to the bank and roll with it? There are problems on the team. There are correctable problems. I talked about Henry Toto, talked about the way Christian Harris played. There are correctable problems. DeMarco Helms, some of the offensive line play, giving the ball to Jase McClellan more. But you're still dealing with a football team that's 3-0 and had to do the things it had to do to beat the number 11 team in the country, which didn't even lose its ranking, by the way. That's how much Florida showed the nation. They stayed at 11. We'll come back. We'll take phone calls. Tom's up hold. Tom is on hold. We'll get to him next. You want to join the show, more than welcome to 205-342-9904. Jacob Harrison here. Kim Rankin producing the show. Joe Gaither behind there as well, helping out. We'll be back right here on Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama sports.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
The real estate market is always tough, but this market, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. When the average home stays on the market just 24 days and houses routinely go for more than the listing price, who you work with matters. Realtors have the expertise, local knowledge, and personal touch to give you a competitive advantage throughout the entire home buying process. And that's something an ordinary agent could never do. So make sure your agent is a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
You will solve the great mystery.
Streaming only on Peacock.
This is Robert Langdon. The suspect called him.
I teach symbology. He wants me to locate an ancient portal buried within the Capitol.
From the author of the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons.
It's your dad. The people who took him want me to find a piece of a very old puzzle.
And executive producers Ron Howard and Brian Grazer.
We have to finish this or my dad is dead.
Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. Streaming now with new episodes every Thursday. Only on Peacock.
Dell's semi-annual sale delivers unmatched productivity and play. Right now, save what Dell employees save with 17% off leading XPS and Alienware computers powered by Intel Core processors. Visit Dell.com/semi-annual or call 800-BY-DELL. That's 800-BY-DELL.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny, windy at times, cooler and less humid today. The high 75. A very cool night tonight. Clear with the low at 51. Tomorrow and Friday, lots of sunshine both days. The high tomorrow is 76, the high Friday at 80. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 68 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
The AFC Offensive Player of the Week, Derrick Henry. He also won our Bama Pro of the Week award on Tide109.com. You can go check that out right now. Read all about his big game against the Seattle Seahawks. Also check out the angry runs from Damian and Najee Harris. Najee Harris did win the award on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network from Kyle Brandt for his stiff arm on Jonathan Abram. Man, that was nasty. That was up there with some of those Derrick Henry stiff arms. Again, you can go read about all those Alabama backs, the way they performed, as well as Tua Tagovailoa, the latest update on his rib injury. He does have fractures in his ribs and will miss the game against the Raiders. Got time for a couple of phone calls, 205-342-9904. Let's jump out of the hotline now. Welcome in, Tom. Tom, what's going on, man?
Hey, Jacob, what's up?
Not much. Not much.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little frustrated, if you can't tell, with some of the things that I see on social media concerning this team and the fears. My NFL team's head coach likes to say, "Don't live in your fears." There's a lot of fears surrounding the Alabama football team right now.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, and but I still say my theme for the week has been Florida surprised me in the quality of the run game that they were able to produce. They came into the game number one in the nation in rushing, and then they proved it to me anyway, which is nothing. I'm John C. fan. That they had a very sophisticated running game that was very productive, and my hat's off to all of them on that Florida team for that, coaches and players. But let me ask you this. I think we all agree that Dan Mullen's one of the better offensive coordinators in college football. Mm-hmm. And he's proved it over and over again with his ability to take nothing and make something offensively out of it wherever he's been. But with the kind of players that you can get at Florida, he's really done an outstanding job, and I think that we got to give him credit in this past game. But my question to you is this: what about what we will? I don't know that we'll encounter another offensive coordinator as talented as he is.
We play Lane Kiffin in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I don't. Lane has got. He's very good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that. I think Dan threw everything but the kitchen sink at us in the run game, and I know Lane will have a equally potent offense as well. But will the Florida game prepare us for some of that stuff?
I think so to a degree, because I think Lane Kiffin is going to see what worked for Florida and incorporate it. They do get it done in different ways. Dan Mullen's always been a coach where either he plays to the strength. He's very good about playing to the strengths of his quarterback and getting the most out of his playmakers. But on Saturday, that wasn't even the case. Anthony Richardson didn't play in the game. Damian Pierce wasn't the lead tailback. Malik Davis was the guy that really kind of got the job done for them in that regard, as well as Naquan Smith, I think his name was, the number 6 guy, had a big third quarter. And Emory Jones got his job done too, but Jacob Copeland had no catches. They didn't throw the tight end at all through the first 2 games, and then just exploited Henry Toto and Christian Harrison coverage with the tight end. So he got it done without his playmakers. There was also another instance where they lose their right guard, and 2 plays later they run off the backup right guard for a 30-yard gain.
Right.
It comes down to scheme at that point, and that's when you have to tip your hat off to the guy across from you for doing a damn good job. And I think
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. And with Lane Kiffin, I don't know if Kiffin can do that, because the one thing Florida has is an abundance of talent. Ole Miss doesn't necessarily have that. So if Matt Corral's not getting the job done, if his top receivers aren't getting the job done, if his top running backs aren't getting the job done, what's Ole Miss going to be able to do? I anticipate they'll have a good scheme, but they're going to need their elite players to play well, whereas Florida was able to survive without that.
Well, let me clue you into something about Ole Miss. They're going to play good.
Oh, yeah.
You get that. You can bet on that right now. No matter who we play, it may not look like a very good shot, but it'll be the best shot they got. And but my thing about the Florida game being a good experience for us is this, that the attitude that you got to have, that you're going against a reputable offense, and have it in your mind that you're going to have to make adjustments to get them stopped in the game. And I don't think we did that in the Florida game. Do you?
No, I didn't see too many in the way of adjustments from the defense. Saw a lot of the same kind of efforts throughout the game. A lot of the same mistakes kind of persistent, and that's what Florida was really able to tack on and take advantage of. And that was what was really frustrating.
Do you think that was the result of 21-3?
The schematic changes for Florida?
Our effort changing.
Or our effort changing? That I don't think so. I don't think our effort ever really went down. I think it was just a matter of Florida executing. I didn't see guys like playing lackadaisical football. I didn't see guys, not reacting and those sorts of things. It's just poor fundamentals is most of what I saw. I saw
let me ask you this.
Not a lack of effort, though.
Poor fundamentals, or what appears to be poor fundamentals, is a result of confusion, is it not?
Yes.
I saw a lot of that.
I can agree with that, and we got the music going, so I'm gonna have to run, Tom. But
see you, buddy.
Absolutely, man. Take it easy, Bryce. We just think we ain't got the time today. You absolutely call back tomorrow after we talk with Joey Blackwell. But we'll continue to break down this team. I mean, Southern Miss. This is one of the worst Southern Miss teams of all time. So there's plenty to figure out about this team moving forward. We'll continue to do that throughout the week. But getting back to the fundamentals, that may just be it. We'll have to talk with Coach Saban about that probably tonight. The Jay Barker Show is coming up next. Ryan Fowler will take you from 2 to 6. Then we'll hear from Coach Nick Saban before Tide tonight when the interns will take you home up until 7. Till then, I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. again for Off the Edge. Check us out on the streams. Go like, share, follow, subscribe, all the great things at Off the Edge 109, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You'll get notifications that the show's about to start, and you can check us out right there. Until then, see y'all tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to Off the Edge.
Can't tell you how proud I am of our players, our team.
Join us every Monday from 8 to 10 and Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and the Tide 100.9 app.